Yo, nation, what it do? We are in a halt, right? No Raiders news, no signings, nothing going on. We got some players to talk about that people think we should bring in. Also, I got some players that everybody's sleeping on we should talk about. So, man, let's get unleashed.
The autumn wind is a pirate, blustering in from sea. With a rollicking song, he sweeps along, swaggering boisterously. His face is weather-beaten. He wears a hooded sash, with a silver hat about his head, and a bristling black mustache. He growls as he storms the country, a villain big and bold.
Big and bold.
And the trees all shake and quiver and quake as he robs them of their gold. The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down and laugh when he's conquered and won.
Just follow me on this one.
Hey, that fire still burns bright in Las Vegas.
And one future.
Poise.
Talk about commitment to excellence, just win, baby. Once a Raider, always a Raider. You walk in this building, you can feel it.
It starts with our DNA, ill intent, physicality.
7 memorable decades. 30 Pro Football Hall of Famers. 25 postseason victories. 5 AFL and AFC championships. And 3 Super Bowl titles. Though names, faces, and locations have changed, one constant remains: the unyielding will to win.
Just win, baby. Yo, what's good? What's good? My guy Robert Pena, Trixie Blue in the building. Shout out to y'all. What's poppin'? Robert Pena, how was your Father's Day? Happy Father's Day to you. Happy Father's Day, late Father's Day to all the fathers. I was busy this weekend. How was y'all's weekend? Let me know in the chat, in the comment. Also, let me know, man, who are your top players that you think the Raiders need to bring in, to help this defense out, to help this offense out, maybe special teams. Let me know in the comments. At the vet with the dogs, Hawaiian Candy. Everything good? Hope everything's good. Shout out to Ro Dizzle in the house. Man, so let's get into it. Jason Ruiz, what's good? What's up, my guy? So right off the rip, I got a couple players that I think the nation, not mostly the nation, but, outside the nation are sleeping on. Guys that are going to make this team, special, guys that are going to take that leap this year. One that was injured last year, had a lot of struggles right off the rip is Colton Miller, right? Colton Miller. What's the contract extension? Is it going to be when the season starts? Is it going to be in the middle of the year? Are they going to let the man play through the season without any guaranteed money? I just don't see the Raiders doing that. If this man gets paid or if he doesn't get paid, right? He's in camp. He's a Raider. He already said he wants to be a Raider for life. I'm sure most of the nation feels the same. I know I want him to be a Raider for life. One of the only 4 Oakland Raiders remaining on this Las Vegas Raider team. So to me, that's big. We're running at Oakland Raiders, right? 2 of them are already signed to long-term contracts. We might as well bring in Colton Miller. But Colton Miller, a long-time left tackle entering his contract year, has made it clear he wants to be here, right? With Chip Kelly's fast-paced offense and Colton's emphasis on competition, Miller could evaluate his game further. His leadership and consistent will be key in protecting Geno Smith, which is key to our success, right? If Geno is upright, if Geno is not put in horrible, situations, if he has time to throw the ball, He's going to pick teams apart. We already know that. If you don't put him in tight situations, right, and he doesn't have to force shit, Gino's going to be a better quarterback. We already know that. Under Chip Kelly, he's played his best football. So we know what we're getting. But as long as our quarterback is upright and he, doesn't have to run around as much, because, quarterback, you got to move around. That's why we got a mobile quarterback. That's why Aiden is not out there. You got to have a guy, that can scramble in the pocket, that can pick up those first downs. And I think Colton Miller is a huge, huge part of that. And I believe he has a chip on his shoulder, right? Coming off the injury last year, we all know he's the leader of this offensive line. He's the captain of the ship. He's the veteran out there. And we need Colton to be at his best. And I believe he's going to have one of his best years. Even being up there with age, he's not like, in his 30s where he's, heading downhill. The man's still on an uphill trajectory, and like I said, a chip on his shoulder coming off of last year. I think Colton Miller's going to be huge. So, with that being said, the next guy, what's good, Rick Rock? Appreciate you dropping in. The next guy is a guy we just brought in, right? A big signing. The highest paid linebacker we have on our roster is Jermaine Pratt, right? After a career high 143 tackles last season, Pratt is looking to prove he's still a force in the NFL, right? He's joining a Raider defense that needs stability. And with Pete Carroll's defensive schemes, he can thrive as a tackling machine and a leader for this defense. Now, is he going to wear the green dot? I don't know. Do you have 2 green dot linebackers out there? I mean, most of us believe it's going to be a Landon Roberts, right? He's going to be the Mike. Jermaine Pratt is going to be that, Will, Sam, whatever, that guy that moves around. But do they run 3, right? Do they run a lot of 4-3? In my opinion, if they do run a lot of 4-3, I think, Jeremy Chin will kind of be that third linebacker out there, as that Roman, whatever, Leo position, whatever you want to call it. So Jermaine Pratt, man, coming off the year that he had, I thought was one of the best players on the defense for the Cincinnati Bengals. We all know him for picking off Derek Carr in the end zone in the playoff game, right? So the man has coverage ability, and I think a lot of people are sleeping on Jermaine Pratt's coverage ability. Now, it doesn't show, in the numbers, but the numbers don't show everything. If you watch this man on film, he does his job out there, right? He can cover running backs out of the backfield. He can cover tight ends. And I think a lot of people are, sleeping on his cover ability. I think it's between him and a Landon Roberts and Devin White, and these young guys that we'll get into here in a bit. Cody Lindenberg. I don't know about Tommy Eichenberg, man. We'll get into that here in a bit. My guy that everybody knows, if you watch this channel, and shout out to Raiders Unleashed. Appreciate y'all pulling up. If you watch this channel a lot, I'm big on Amari Gaynor. Since the day we signed him as a UDFA player, I thought, he has the potential, the speed, the guy that's played, linebacker in college, played on the edge, a guy you can move around, versatile. And I think under the leadership of Jermaine Pratt, Landon Roberts, Devin White, these guys in the building are just going to help the young linebackers we have, like Cody Lindenberg, like Tommy Eichenberg, which, is even a question at this point. So don't sleep on Jermaine Pratt, man. I think this linebacker room has improved tremendously this year from what it was last year. And I know we lost Robert Spillane, and I know a lot of the nation is still butthurt about losing Robert Spillane. But, man, put some cream on it or something, bro. Get over it. The price was too high. We couldn't keep him in the building. He wanted to be here. We wanted him here. We just got outbid, right? But we got 3 linebackers for the price of Robert Spillane. And if 3 guys can't, replace Robert Spillane, then we failed on the guys we brought in. And I just don't see how a guy like Jermaine Pratt, a Landon Roberts who I believe is going to have one of his biggest years. We all seem to forget that last, 2-3 years ago, we all said the same thing about Robert Spillane, right? I remember being in the chats. I wasn't doing YouTube live then. I didn't have my own channel, but I was still in the chats. And I remember a lot of content creators and a lot of people saying, Robert Spillane, bro, what's he going to do? What's he going to do? Robert Spillane's slow. He can't cover. And now all of a sudden everybody's, crying because Robert Spillane's not with the Raiders. So this dude came in. Nobody expected him to be the guy he was. Nobody expected him to be the leader or the player that he was in a silver and black uniform. I believe Landon Roberts can be that guy, right? He still has speed. He can still cover. It's not great cover, but he still gets the job done. When it comes to getting to the quarterback, when it comes to stopping the run, maybe not the best at rushing the passer, but at stopping the run, he's top 5 or 10 in the NFL, and his stats prove it. We struggle in stopping the run, right? Even with Robert Spillane in there, we struggled with stopping the run. It was a big, huge problem for us. We ranked bottom in the NFL, rushing, and at the bottom of the NFL and stopping the run. So I believe all three of these guys, Jermaine Pratt, Devin White, and Landon Roberts, have big years. I see all three of them making the roster. I see all three of them contributing. Like I said, there's going to be situations where we run a lot of 4-3. And if you have 3 linebackers out there, why not have 3 veterans like a Jermaine Pratt, a Landon Roberts, and a Devin White? I mean, come on. That's nasty right there. That's a scary linebacker room to me. And all these guys have chip on their shoulders, right? Devin White coming off an off year. Landon Roberts being let go. Same thing, like I just said, with Robert Spillane, right? He wasn't happy that, he was a free agent. Either is a Landon Roberts. Landon Roberts wants to be that leader. He wants to be that guy. When you have guys that come in that want to help the youth behind them, that want to bring these guys up, it's huge, right? That's what makes championships. That's what breed playoff teams, is when you have everybody in the building buying in to help the guys, behind them. Same thing with content creators, right? That's what we do. We bring up, guys starting their channel, you bring them on, you get them out there, that's how shit grows, right? That's how people get better. So Jermaine Pratt, man, I think a lot of people are sleeping on this guy, and I think he's going to be a very huge acquisition for this team. Next is DJ Glaze, right? You don't hear a lot of people talking about DJ Glaze. Dark was good. Appreciate you dropping in. Right, there's not a lot of talk about DJ Glaze going into his second year. A guy that was thrown into the fire, that had to start, right off the rip. I think he's a guy a lot of people are sleeping on. There's not much competition behind him. I know we got Charles Grant. I just don't think he's ready, right off the bat, but he's looking good out there in OTAs. So maybe that pushes DJ Glaze a little bit more. But like he said, if you watch the interview, he don't need to be pushed, right? Last year, he had to fight to get that job. He took the job. This year, he has to fight to keep it. And a lot of talk about this man looking better. We've heard the coaches talk about him. We heard Pete Carroll talk about him. We heard Chip Kelly talk about him. One thing we haven't heard a lot is Brendan Carroll, the offensive line coach. We haven't heard him talk much. I'd like to hear a little bit more what he has to say. But DJ Glaze, the young right tackle, has impressed the coaching staff and looks locked in as a starter. Obviously, like I just said, there's not much competition behind him. With the full season to refine his technique and adjust to the NFL speed, he could solidify himself as a cornerstone for this offensive line. Now, wouldn't that be huge to have a second-year guy that is the next Colton Miller, right? Not the Colton Miller, but cornerstone, right? A guy that is going to be a starting right tackle. He's going to be your starter for the next 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, right? Possibly. I think DJ Glaze could be that guy. This dude, have you seen his shoulders? It looks like he has like 8 of my shoulders. This man is huge. athletic, strong, and he's just getting stronger. It looks like he's been in the weight room. His arms look bigger. He looks a lot more defined. DJ Glaze can be a problem, and as he stated, he goes against the best in the NFL, right? Or who we believe is the best in the NFL, and Max Crosby, day in, day out, constantly. When camp, starts and the pads come on, you got Max Crosby constantly coming at you. We know how he is in practice. We know how he is in games. The dude's absolutely relentless. And when you got a player like Max Crosby, who's taking who's taking JPJ under his wing, working out with him, I'm sure DJ Glaze is right there. JPJ, DJ Glaze are really good friends, and I think a lot of people just aren't talking about DJ Glaze, his work ethic, always being in the building. He's a guy that's constantly trying to get better. Like I said, working out a lot. I think DJ Glaze could be a sleeper, man. If he comes in like knowing the NFL, knowing the speed of the NFL. If we look at the pass rushers he faced last year, TJ Watt, I can't think of Kansas City, Denver, like all these guys have elite defensive ends that he went against every single week. That made him better. I think this kid, under Pete Carroll, you see Pete Carroll out there wrestling with guys, jumping on guys, right? He brings the energy. These guys want to play for him, and that's a huge difference, I think, than last year. Some people said the locker room was divided, right? Some people were okay. Some people weren't happy with the way practices were ran, with the energy in the building, with the lack of the lack of discipline, all that, right? The lack of experience in the coaching staff. It was all, hearsay, but we seen it on the field, right? We seen it on the field 2 years ago when AP took over. We were one of the least penalized teams in the NFL. We still have a lot of those players on offense and on defense, right? We can get back to that. I think we're going to be more disciplined this year. And like I said, I think in the 10 games that AP coached, right? We had 2 games with 0 penalties. 0 penalties. That was a disciplined team. That was a team that was disciplined. They believed in, what was going on. They were buying into the system. They believed in the coaching staff. The next year, it wasn't so much, right? So shout out to the chat. I'll get to y'all in a minute. So, man, I think DJ Glaze really has the potential to break out, to take that jump. We know he gave up a lot of pressures last year. He didn't give up a lot of sacks, but he gave up a lot of pressures. And pressures lead to panic quarterbacks like we had last year. All of them were deer in the headlights, leaving the pocket a little too early, panicking, running into sacks. I don't think we have that this year, right? I think we have a more controlled DJ Glaze. I think he helps us in the run game more, right? I think as the season went on, our run game picked it up, right? Like we talked about, we had Amir Abdullah coming in, having 100-yard games. So if DJ Glaze, whoever the starting line is, let me know in the comments who you believe the starting line is what the starting offensive line is going to look like. Do you think it's going to be, Alex Kappa at the right guard spot? Do you think they move Meredith over there? Do they put Thayer Munford? Do they move him possibly to the right spot? He's been, working out at the left spot. Dylan Parham, does he start? If you didn't watch the Max Crosby show today, he wasn't there, but JPJ was, and he talked a lot about Dylan Parham. That's his guy. So with Dylan Parham being JPJ's guy, do they keep him, on the team as a starter, or does that spot get taken? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. Speaking of comments, let's get into some. All right, what it do? They're checking a knot on him. and he got shots. Oh, poor puppy. What's good? What's good? All right. Well, as always, salute my guy Rick in the building. What? I'll stream when Rebel is done. I'm back at home after the vet. For sure. For sure. Yeah, let us know what's going on with the puppy. Rotizzle. My guy Dark in the building. What's good, man? Joe, what's good, my guy? Didn't see you. Furpo. Raiders. Get back to work. Back to work. Appreciate you stopping in on break, my guy. True Raiders fan. True Raiders fan. Yeah. Appreciate it. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that like button if you're new to the channel. If you've never seen the channel before, show some love. Show some love. All right, I think we're all caught up. Jack Yates, 12-5. Let's go. Yeah, that's my record prediction. Way too early, before camp, before preseason, and I'm not changing it. I'm gonna stand on it. I think this year is gonna be special. Jack Yates says, I think Mumford at left guard. He's been looking good over there. And we talked about, I talked about that last year when DJ Glaze took that spot when he came back off of injury, because we were having problems with the guard spot, right? We needed to move JPJ to center. We were having problems with the center spot. Obviously, he's not here anymore. So yeah, I think it's big for us. Jack Yates says Geno MVP. I'm not mad at that. If Geno's MVP, how deep do you see us going in the playoffs? Because if Geno's MVP of the league, I mean, damn, we got to be close. Are battling to win the division. He's got to make no, and I mean absolutely no dumb mistakes. But I could see that. I could literally see Geno being MVP of the league if this defense is what everybody says the defense is going to be, right? Our defense was 17th or 16th last year in points allowed with 217 points a game through the air, or yards allowed through the air. I think we have a chance to better that. Darian Porter looks nicey, right? Eric Stokes looks very good out there. Jacorian Bennett, healthy, beefed up, looks very, very good out there. So, man, if our front four, there's a lot of talk, Christian Wilkins could possibly be ready by week 1. If that's the case, if Christian Wilkins is out there and ready to go, this defense is special. And if the defense is special and our offense is a problem, we all know what that means, right? That means a lot of victories. We play a lot of teams that have a lot of new coaches that were bottom of the barrel teams last year. Not every team in the NFL is going to be the Washington Commanders of last year. Not every team in the NFL is going to be the Houston Texans of 2-3 years ago, right? Not every team is going to do that every year. There's one, possibly two. I believe the Raiders are the one. We're the one team that fixed the quarterback position. We overachieved at the running back position, in my opinion, with Mostert and Ashton Genty. That's a big overachievement. And then you got guys that were starters last year, battling for a third spot in Zamir White, Sincere McCormick. He didn't start a lot. He didn't start. Did he start at all? I don't think so, but he got some play time. So that's, the running back room is night and day from last year. A huge jump, not just a baby step, right? A huge jump. Then you look at our offensive line. You got Jackson Powers Johnson, who looks absolutely insane out there today on the show. the man looked like he lost a good 20, 25 pounds. He says 10 to 15. I think he might, yeah, he probably good lost 15, maybe 20 pounds, but I think he packed on a good 5, 10 pounds of muscle also. A stronger JPJ, a whole entire camp. Last year he was hurt with a concussion, right? This kid didn't know where he was going to play. Was it left guard? Was it right guard? Was it center? He wasn't working at center because we had Andre James, right? Everybody thought he was going to be the backup center or, going to be a right guard. Well, he ended up playing right guard and then playing center one time, and that's all it took for JPJ to take the job. He took baby steps last year. He had some penalties that cost us. I believe, his mental is better. Physically, he's better. Like I said, he's stronger. That's going to be a problem, dude. That's going to be a problem. He talks about the chemistry he already has with Geno Smith, right? That's another big thing. Last year for our quarterbacks, no matter who it was, whether it was Gardner Minshew, whether it was Aiden O'Connell, or how rude, the other cat. Horrible. We had different centers, right? We had Andre James playing. We had Andre James playing injured. We had JPJ in there. Then we had Andre James in there. Then we had JPJ in there. Our quarterbacks don't want to change centers, right? That is the one position on the offensive line they don't want changing. They build a chemistry, right? They build, how to snap the ball, where they want the ball, the timing of the snap, all of that is crucial. And these guys, that's why they constantly work on snaps. So when you have a different center, it changes everything. I think JPJ definitely takes that next leap. And if he takes a big leap this year and starts to be a leader on that offensive line, he's talked about the guys next to him and Kappa and Parham. I don't know if those are the guys next to him, but it doesn't matter who. It already shows to me that, he's taken that leadership. He already knows what's expected from him. And like he said, he's got a chip on his shoulder also from last year. He didn't have camp, right? He didn't know the system. He didn't know the offense. And then you had 2 offenses to learn. You fire Luke Getsy early. So he gets in, he starts to learn that system. And then you bring in, the Turners, and it didn't change much, but it changed enough. And changing offensive line schemes and offenses in the middle of the season, whether you're adding twinkles, whether you're getting rid of stuff, it's still a problem. It's a problem for a team that has a lot of youth, for a team that has an inexperienced head coach. I believe all those problems are out the door, gone, behind us. Man, I should have put the green screen up. Shout out. Sorry for the shitty ass screen behind me. But yeah, let me know in the chats, man, what y'all think. So I think it's a big step, bro. Super Bowl, let's go. I don't know. No, that's crazy. But there's a chance, man. There is a chance. It's not like the last 3, 4, 5 years where you're like, okay, like we could possibly compete for a playoff spot, right? The defense isn't great. The offense is better than the defense. Then the defense was better than the offense for the last 2 years. It's been a revolving door. I think this year, this flipping year right here is the year, offense and defense, if healthy, because man, that was the problem last year. I think we had it last year also. We just couldn't stay healthy. But if healthy, this is the year with Pete Kelly, with Chip Kelly, with Pete Carroll, changing the defense, going to probably a 4-3, right? Running probably a lot more cover 3 sky. If you don't know what sky defense is, I'll break it down tonight. I will also be live tonight, same time as usual, probably 8, 9 o'clock, but I will be back on. Since I missed this weekend, got to catch back up, and I got more shit to talk about. So with that being said, Super Bowl, man, would be great. But like I said, it's not unrealistic if you really think about it, right? The Washington Commanders last year, what did they do? They got a quarterback They already had a running back, right? They didn't get many weapons for their quarterback. JD5 didn't have a lot of weapons, right? He had a guy right now that is under contract dispute, right? That might not even be on the team. The Raiders should go look at if he's not. Just saying. So, Jaden Daniels didn't have a whole lot of weapons. He had weapons, but he was the offense, right? He was basically the offense. He was the man under pressure, rolling out, making plays with his legs. It changed that whole entire offense. They had an okay defense. They went from bottom of their division to one game away from the Super Bowl. And a couple of plays here and there, they could have easily been the team in the Super Bowl playing the Chiefs instead of the Philadelphia Eagles. The Raiders could very easily be that team, right? Who was the coach? Who was the coach for the Washington Commanders? Did I say Redskins earlier? I apologize. Who was the coach for the Washington Commanders last year? Wasn't it Dan Quinn? Who was his mentor? Isn't it Pete Carroll? If a guy like Dan Quinn could come in and turn the Washington Commanders around in one season by adding a couple different coaches, right? Changing the philosophy, changing the culture, which we've done, adding a couple key players, which we've done, and the whole team flipped. We have a more experienced head coach in Pete Carroll. We have a way more experienced offensive coordinator with Chip Kelly than they did with Cliff Kingsbury, right? I mean, Cliff Kingsbury's experience football-wise to Chip Kelly, come on. I think Chip Kelly has forgot more than Cliff Kingsbury may ever know. That's huge to me. I don't see why we can't be a team battling for the playoffs. Now, I know you're going to say, look at our division. The AFC West is tough, right? You got the Chiefs, you got the Chargers, you got the Broncos. All were in the playoffs last year, all projected to possibly make the playoffs this year. Where do we fit in? We fit in by beating those teams. We play them twice, all three of them. If we beat those teams, if we control our division, our fate, our destiny is in our hands. It starts in a division. The Chiefs, man, we've been right there on the brink of beating the Chiefs, right? We've owned the Denver Donkeys like they were at a Diddy party for the last 4 years. I mean, let's be honest. Sweep, 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 sweep. We swept them so much we had to keep buying brooms. Why can't we do that again? Why can't we beat the Broncos? I believe we can. I believe we can beat the Chargers. I believe this year we could beat the Chiefs. I believe this team is way, way, way more bought in. They're more disciplined. There's more camaraderie. They believe in each other. The culture has changed. That's what changed in Washington. That's what changed in Houston. That's what got those teams to the playoffs in a 1-year turnaround. Why can't a coach like Pete Carroll be that guy to come in and flip this team in 1 year? We've been at the brink of the playoffs. We've been at the edge. I think last year, if AP and everybody would have stayed healthy, if they would have went with the right offensive coordinator, or even with Luke Getsy, if he could have got it together, if Devontae Adams would have stayed, if everything would have stayed in place, I think last year we would have competed. There's no way we won 4 games, bro. It would have been 9 or 10, in my opinion, and could have been more. But a lot of things would have had to happen, mostly stay healthy, which is going to have to happen this year. So, man, I believe playoffs is a possibility. Super Bowl is, it's not like there's a 1,000,000,000 to 1 chance, right? There's 32 teams in the NFL. Only 2 teams make it. The chances aren't that difficult. Why can't we be that team? And if these guys that I'm talking about step up and take the leap this year, come on, man. This team is bad. Bad, nasty. Top 5 offenses, I think I think we dominate this year. Top 5 offense? Man, preach that truth, bro. To have a top 5 offense, we already know Gino's got to be the man. Genty doesn't have to, right? He has Raheem Mostert. He has whoever's going to be behind him, whether it's Sincere McCormick, whether it's Dylan Labe, whether it's Zamir White, whether it's Chris Collier. We don't know, right? Collier is kind of that thunder back. He's 210, right? 6 foot, 6'5", 5'10", 210. He's a little bulldozer, a little bowling ball, right? Can he make this team? Can he make this roster? We don't know, but I know there's going to be competition. I know, guys, there's too many weapons on this team for defenses to say, okay, this is our focus for today. Pressure the quarterback, stop Brock Bowers. Go ahead. Pressure the quarterback, stop Brock Bowers. We're going to run the football down your throat. Stack the box. We're gonna trade Tucker and Devontae Jr. Devontae Thornton Jr. Dante Thornton Jr. over the top all day long. What are teams gonna focus on? What are you gonna stop? A solid defense comes in, right, and focuses on your number one weapons. Who's our number one weapon? Somebody tell me. Somebody tell me in the chat who's our number one weapon. Is it Brock Bowers? Is it Jacoby Myers? Is it Dante Thornton Jr.? Is it Jack Beck? Is it going to be Geno Smith? Could it be Michael Mayers? Michael Mayer. I mean, who is our number one guy? Who is our number one target? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. And that is why I believe we have a chance to shock a lot of teams. Because every week, I talked about it, for the last couple of weeks, every week we have a chance to be different. A different offensive scheme, a different offensive threat. My guy Jack Yates says top 10 defense, best defensive line in football. Now, I think the Eagles are going to have something to say about that. And I believe the Broncos are going to have something to say about that. That Broncos front seven is absolutely frightening. And I don't say that much because in the NFL, there's always ways to beat teams. But when you look at the Broncos defense, you're going to have to come up with some inventive ways to beat that defense, man. That defense is nasty. But I believe our defense has the potential to be top 10. If our corners can cover, if our linebackers are, if we have breakout year from Pratt, which, I mean, a breakout year, I don't mean a breakout year because the dude already had a breakout year. But for us, for our linebackers, the numbers he had last year would be a huge breakout year. If Wilkin comes, put that shit up. If Wilkin comes back fully healthy at the start of the season, man, watch out. And that's another thing. If Wilkins is fully healthy, this defensive line is even 10 times scarier. I'm talking with Wilkins, maybe missing the first couple weeks, first couple games. I think we still have a shot. But with him in there, we seen at the beginning of last year, the first 4 games, right? The difference. Max Crosby wasn't getting doubled every play, right? Even guys on the other end like Tyree Wilson and Charles Snowden, right? These guys were still getting to the quarterback. They were still making plays just because of the presence of Christian Wilkins in the middle. He was getting in the backfield. He was making plays. The game he got hurt, the man was on fire, right? And he was starting to, him and Max were starting to gel. Now, it sucks that he's not in camp. It sucks that they can't gel right now. But when they get going, I believe that's 2 of the scariest guys playing next to each other, defensive end and tackle in the NFL. they have a chance to be the best too, right? And then if you look at the rest of the line and Adam Butler, whether he's out there, whether it's my guy Jonah Lalu, who I didn't have on this list as a breakout year, but I probably should have added him on there because I really feel this man is going to surprise a lot of people this year. Then you got Tyree. Where's he going to be? On the inside, you can put him, anywhere on the defensive line. You can rotate this man all around. They could run NASCAR packages, really, if they had to. If you look at the strength and speed of Snowden, of Tyree Wilson, Malcolm Kuntz, you can put those 4 guys in there to pressure the quarterback. I mean, we have a lot of options. And with Patrick Graham, like he said, soaking it up. Hawaiian Caney says, I truly hope we make the playoffs. So do I. I want to go to a playoff game. The best center in the league. I mean, he's not there yet. But he has the potential to be, right? So do I. I think we got a strong team to make the playoffs this season. Preach that truth. I'm not Bruno. What it do, my guy? You still got that. Appreciate you dropping in. How was your Father's Day, man? If you're a father. At Rick Rock, we have the capable coaching staff on both sides of the ball. Yes. And not only do we have a capable coaching staff on both sides of the ball, but we also have, like I talked about Thursday night, right? Thursday or Friday night. We have Marcus Robertson, who has played with Wood, or who has coached with Woods, both with the Raiders in 2014, as a matter of fact. So we have 2 coaches coming back to this organization that have both said they didn't want to leave this organization. They love this organization. It's why they're back in this organization. That's huge, right? They're coaching the defensive backs, a problem we had last year. I thought got better. Choose what's good. I thought we got better at the position, but injuries, man, injuries. Break over later. Raiders. Back to work. What's good? Appreciate you pulling in. Chewies, y'all go check out his shit. What else we got? Been a fan since 76. One of the best teams we've had in years. That's what I'm talking about, Jack. Pump up the chat. Gas everybody up. Let's go. We should be gassed up, man. A lot of content creators like, man, what if this, what if that, or this player needs to do that. Stop all that, bro. This is the best team we've had in a long, long time. 50 years I've been watching this shit. My whole life I've been a Raider fan. That's all I do. Every single year I'm bought into the offseason. I want to know who we're signing, who these guys are. Content creator, not so much, but even more now that I'm doing this shit because I have to know. So this is one of the best teams I've seen in a long, long time. And it has the potential to possibly be one of the best teams ever. I mean, if you look at the history of the Raiders, we'll break that down tonight. The history of the Raiders and why this team has the potential to be one of the best teams we've had in a long time. That'll be the show tonight. I just changed what I was going to talk about. So yeah, join me tonight. Relaxing for a quick minute before I go to work. How about you? Oh, you got to go to work? Man, I hate night shift. That shit sucks. I wish I was working night shift in this desert, bro. It's 120 degrees outside. If your aunt had balls, she would have been your uncle. Maybe. Nowadays, she could still be your aunt, even with balls. You don't know, bro. That statement don't hold true no more. I'm just saying. Get that money, Dark. Yes. Today, my last day. All right, today's my last day of work, so I go about get some shit done around the yard and then get mentally ready for the work week of labor. Gotta love that labor life, man, right? Gotta love that labor life. Yes, I believe we actually have a damn good chance to be on top. Let's go, Raiders. Has there ever been a division that's had all 4 teams make the playoffs? And is it possible? Could all 3 teams split? Is that possible? 1-1-1, right? I mean, you could split your division and then stomp the rest of the league. That'd be absolutely crazy. Absolutely wild. All right, let's get back to this. Yes, I believe we actually have a damn good chance to be on top. Let's go, Raiders. That's the y'all shit. He said what? In Pete, we trust. Yes. Yes. And if you don't trust in Pete, man, something's wrong, bro. God Raider family, what it do, what it do. No matter this year, we're going to dominate. We have the potential, man. Like I said, you can look at the schedule. Let me hide this chat, right? And it puts me right in front of it. Go back. Damn it. That didn't fucking help. All right. Never mind. Well, man, when we look at the schedule and we broke it all down, we can break it down more later on. But there, like I said, there's a lot of teams that we definitely are going to be a problem for. Now, how we play those teams, that's the question, right? I just don't feel like we play them like we've had in the past. The teams we should have beat, we don't come, we don't come prepared. We don't play up to our ability. We play down to our opponents. It's been a problem with the Raider Nation, with the Raiders, not the Raider Nation. It's been a problem with the Raiders, my whole entire life. Even on the good teams, right? Even on the good teams we've had, we still play down to our opponents. Billy D, what's good? Pete Carroll's teams don't play down to their opponents, right? His coach teams, more times than not, and it's more like probably 70-30, win those games that they're supposed to, right? We haven't done that in a long time. That's going to turn a lot of shit around. And I hope we do dominate. I hope we do dominate. Let's get it started, right? I mean, that's why we're here, to pump this team up. 12-5, bro. If we go 12-5, man, I'll shit my pants. In my honest opinion, Pete sees like a Super Bowl winning opportunity. That's a good statement, Dark. And I talked about that before on this channel too. Pete Carroll didn't just coach the Raiders because he wanted to get back into coaching and we were the only team willing to hire him, right? It goes way deeper than that. I think a lot of people are like, oh, we wanted Ben Johnson. We couldn't get Ben Johnson, right? We couldn't get Mike Vrabel, and who we didn't even interview. And Pete Carroll was the leftovers. I think a lot of people in the nation are feeling that way. I don't feel that way at all. I feel like Pete Carroll was tops on the list. Whether it was whether Ben Johnson got hired or not, I think there was still a competition there. And I believe they would have went with Pete Carroll instead of Ben Johnson, even if he didn't take the Bears job. He might still be looking for a job. That's just my honest opinion. I think they really like what Pete Carroll offers. He, like I said a million times, he has the blueprint. He knows how to win. He knows how to take teams to the playoffs. He knows how to develop players. He knows how to build culture. He has all the blueprints for all of that with his experience. He was the best fit for this team. And I think, our opportunity window, people say, well, they only hired him for 3 years. Yes, they only hired him for 3 years. Because if we don't win the Super Bowl or make it to the playoffs in 3 years, our window gets smaller, bro. And we'll talk about that tonight. Rick Diaz, what's good? What's good? Lawrence, what's good? Appreciate you. We'll talk about that tonight. I don't want to get into it too much. So stay tuned. Make sure you pull up tonight because there's a big reason why we have to win now. We have to. And I said it before when we brought in Devontae Adams. Our defense was starting to pick it up. Our offense was cooking. Say what you want about Carr. Say what you want about Devontae Adams. Our offense was still, tops in the NFL. We were up there. We were putting up points. We had comeback wins. Yes, we had some losses under Dick Daniels, but they were starting to put it together. They blew the shit up. The window was there, right? Bisaccia, if they would have kept Bisaccia as the head coach, which every player wanted him to stay the head coach, they went to bat for that guy. It could have been a AP situation, but it could have not, right? It could have been a team that was unified, that was bought in, that made it to the playoffs and lost and was destined to get back there. We don't know because we keep breaking shit up. So Pete Carroll is going to be here no matter what for 3 years. That's a lock. That's how I feel. And we have to win now. We have to win now. This is the best chance. We have the quarterback, we have the running back, we have the weapons for him. I mean, the weapons might be the most weapons in the NFL. If you really go look at everybody's roster, and I know I'm saying that because I have Raider blinders on or whatever, what anybody wants to say. But factually, go look at people's rosters and look at ours. Nobody has a Brock Bowers. Nobody. You got guys that are close that are, the same. But Kelsey's getting up there in age, bro. And the next best tight end right now, to me, it's Brock Bowers. Nobody has a Jacoby Myers. You could say what you want about a lot of receivers in the NFL. Name me one that blocks like Jacoby Myers. Name me one that has 0 drops. Name me one that has 1,000 yards with 70 targets or something? Not even 100 targets. Over 1,000 yards, not even 100 targets. Nobody has a Jacoby Myers. Nobody has a guy that's willing to be that second or even third guy, not complain about it, not bitch about it, not say a word. He comes to work every single day with his hard hat and his boots on, and the dude is strapped in, bro. Always. Nobody has that. There's a couple teams that might have a Jacoby Myers, but find me those teams, right? Find me those teams and those players because I believe Jacoby Myers is tops in the league at his position. That's my opinion. Some people don't believe he's a number one. I feel he could be your number one target. No problem with, knees duts. What's good? What's good? With no drop off. To me, that's my opinion. And then you look at Dante Thornton Jr. Name me a team in the NFL that has a Dante Thornton. Name me a team that has a 6'5" receiver that runs a 4.3 40. I'll wait all day. I'll wait. When y'all find me one, let me know in the chats. The weapons are ridiculous. Trey Tucker. We'll get to him in a bit. Ashton Genty. There's a lot of teams that have running backs. Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, Travis Henry, Jahmyr Gibbs, right? But we're talking elite running backs. There's probably 6, maybe 7 you can put in that category. I believe Ashton Genty's already in that category. Now he's got to prove it, but to me, I believe he's already there. So, yes, as you said, with Pete, This is our chance to win the Super Bowl. Best running back, best tight end, tallest as fastest receiver in the NFL, NFL history, MVP type quarterback, right? I mean, I should have read that before I went into this long ass speech. I could have just read your comment and moved on. Damn it. All right, let's read all these comments because what it do, what it do. What else we got? Are you in Arkansas? Right now, at the moment, I'm in Lake Havasu, Arizona, and it's hot as shit. But I will be back in Arkansas very, very soon. Very soon. What up, my guy Billy D in the building? What do you think about the wide receiver we picked up today? Who did we sign today? All right, I'm behind. Let me know who it was. Please don't make me look it up. We signed a receiver today? Damn, what kind of content creator am I? I suck. I ran in and had to jump on this shit right away. So I'll look it up in a minute. Yeah, I'm still in Arizona. This hellhole. Ricky Diaz. I want us to sweep the NFC East. I do too. I want us to sweep the AFC West, the NFC East. And I'll be happy losing 1 or 2 games in the what other division do we play? Shit, I don't know. Finally made it back home. How's the dog? We have Max and Brock and Colton. We are good. You know, and we haven't even mentioned Max Crosby yet. And I don't feel we have to. You're from Bullhead City? Nice. Idaho? Bullhead City to Idaho? What was that transition like? It's like I've been to Idaho, and obviously I've been to Bullhead City. I did a whole lot of work there. I put a lot of tile in a lot of houses in Bullhead City for many, many moons. He's the tallest receiver in the NFL at 6'6". And one of the fastest. So, man, our weapons, shout out to the chat. I am caught up. They said he has a heart murmur and is not allowed to fly, but the knot on his chest is just a fat deposit. Stop feeding him so much. How does he even eat so much? The dog don't even have teeth. Fucked up. All right, caught up to the chat. Shout out to y'all. So yeah, man, let's get back into this. So appreciate y'all's questions. But oh fuck, did I just lose it? Don't do that to me, bro. Seriously? Come on, man. All right. So we've been to the top 3, right? If you're just pulling up, Colton Miller, Jermaine Pratt, DJ Glaze. Guys, I think a lot of people are sleeping on. And if you are sleeping on these guys, get your ass up out of bed. I'm just saying. Next up is another linebacker. Yes, another linebacker. We talked about Jermaine Pratt, but Landon Roberts. I think both of these linebackers make a huge, huge impact right away on this defense. And they're a big, big reason with their leadership. Both of them green dot potential. You know, they're going to put guys in plays. They're going to see situations that are going to help our young corners. They're going to help our, you know, whoever's playing the nickel. They're going to help everybody, right? They're going to help the defense. They're going to help the defensive line. These guys know football. Jermaine Pratt and, yes, Landon Roberts. Landon Roberts is not getting the credit he deserves in the nation. I still see a lot of content creators. I still see a lot of, you know, ESPN and everybody. Our linebacker room is the biggest question on this team, bro. I don't feel that. I feel like I said earlier, I think, this linebacker room has potential to be tops in the NFL. And if that's the case, we don't even know what the record could be with this team if we have a dominant linebacker core and a dominant front. Come on, if our front, whatever it's going to be, 6, 7 is dominant, you know what that does for NFL defenses, right? It lets these guys eat. It lets these corners not have to cover all day long, right? They're just covering the routes that they should already know. Damn, this is the defense. This is where this guy's going. You can tell if he's lined up inside the hash, outside the hash, right? If he's going inside, if he's going outside. These guys know the routes before they're even coming. And if you only have to cover the route that you are already anticipating coming, it makes your job so much easier as a corner, as a safety, which, I didn't play a lot of, but I played in high school. And as a safety, it's so much easier if you know your corner has his man on lock, right? If I'm live.
I didn't know you were allowed to. Can you open this real quick?
Yeah.
My hands are greasy.
Oh, you're so weak. That was easy.
Because my hands were greasy.
Greasy?
Yeah.
Wipe them off. Sorry, yo. So, Landon Roberts, a veteran linebacker with Super Bowl experience. How many guys do we have on this team with Super Bowl experience? Right? Not very many. I think Alex Kappa on the Bengals. I mean, on the Bengals, on the Bucks when they won the Super Bowl. I do believe so. Super Bowl experience. He knows what it takes to get there. He knows the effort it takes to get there. He knows the leadership it takes to bring these guys with him, right? He knows how to do all that shit. I think this is key for this linebacker room. Last year we had Robert Spillane, but Robert Spillane's best years, let's be honest, were with us, right? His best years in football were in a silver and black jersey. I believe Landon Roberts is going to be that same type of guy. His best years are yet to come, and they're in the silver and black. He's already talked about the relationship he's building, the chemistry he's building with Patrick Graham, right? Watching film, he's already said himself, right? He can tell Patrick Graham, all right, so this is what you want me to do. Or, hey, you want me to do this in this situation? They're already communicating. They already have that chemistry. That's huge, right? It takes time for a defensive coordinator and a middle linebacker, to gain that trust. It takes time for a coach to say, all right, I fully trust this guy, and to put these guys in the right positions, to read the defense, right? To maybe even call plays or change plays out there as the leader of that defense. And I think Landon Roberts is going to be that dude. So Roberts has already earned praise from Max Crosby and Pete Carroll for his leadership. He's expected to wear the green dot, meaning he'll be the defensive play caller on the field, a huge responsibility that could lead to a standout season. And I believe Landon Roberts is going to have, like I said, his best year, and it's going to be as a Raider. Now, with the Super Bowl experience, you have stories, right? In the locker room, you're going to be telling these guys, hey, we played this team and, whatever, we were down by 7. And if we wouldn't have come back and won that game because this dude did this or this dude did that, right? We wouldn't have won that game. That inspires people. That, there's not too many people on our team last year that or the year before, right? That we've had that has that experience, that has the Super Bowl knowledge. Now we have it not only on the field, but we have it in the coaching staff, multiple in the coaching staff. We have it in the owner, right? More rings than probably everybody on the team and the coaching staff put together in Tom Brady. We have people that have been to the Super Bowl, that know what it takes to get there, that know how to build a team, the guys, the chemistry you need, the type of players you need, because you need those dogs. You need those crazy Lyle Alzado, Romanowski type dudes. You need those, freaks out there that can barely be controlled, because that is what football is, right? It is athletic dudes running around, making plays. Max Crosby, we have that, right? Max Crosby is that Bill Romanowski, Lyle Alzado type dude. He's always talking shit. He's always in people's face. He brings the energy. I just feel like we have so much more than we've had in previous years. So, a Landon Roberts, Jermaine Pratt, watch out for these dudes to have huge years and big impacts on this defense. The situations they've been in, the offenses they've seen. Uh, I got a video coming out. Shit, I don't know. Tomorrow, if I get done with it tonight. Probably not if I go live. So sometime this week, I don't want to say what day, but I got a lot of shit going on. I got some people coming on for some interviews. So stay tuned for that. But I got a video coming out, man. Jermaine Pratt, to go back to that. This dude makes big plays against Kansas City, creating fumbles, creating turnovers. He had one of his best games against Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. That's a team we play twice a year. This man has had his, some of his best games playing Kansas City. So that's another huge aspect for this defense, right? He already knows Patrick Mahomes. He knows what Andy Reid's trying to do on offense. Another huge upside. Landon Roberts also being in the AFC has played teams like the Chargers, the Broncos. He knows these teams. He knows these quarterbacks. He knows how to put pressure on them. He knows their weaknesses. Another big strength for us. And then last but not least, a guy that I've questioned an awful lot lately, and it's Trey Tucker, right? Trey Tucker entering his third year. He's had fast, big play ability, but he needs to be consistent. He's averaged a little over 400 yards as a Raider, but he's averaged, under 50 carry or under 50 attempts. So I believe the attempts go up in a Chip Kelly system. They're going to use them an awful lot. They're going to use them on reverses, on sweeps. They're going to use them, on quick outs. They're going to use his speed on slants. They're going to take advantage of the weapons they have on offense, being Brock Bowers, Ashton Genty. I don't have to keep naming them. We all know who they are. Chip Kelly is going to take huge advantage of this. Mark my words. So look for this man, Trey Tucker, to have a breakout year. I believe he has one of his best year yardage wise, and that's saying a lot because we have more weapons than we've ever had. Like I said, we're going to have a better running game. We're going to have a way better passing game. And I still feel like Trey Tucker is a sleeper. He's could possibly be number 1 or 2 for the first couple weeks of the season until, Jack Beck and Dante Thornton establish themselves and prove they can be those guys. So the first couple weeks, I think, are huge for Trey Tucker. And I think, this whole season he's getting close to coming up on those contract years too. So you gotta prove that you can be that guy if you want to stay in this organization. So entering his third year, Tucker has flashed big play ability, but he needs consistent with Chip Kelly's offensive creativity. He can see an extended role, especially with defenses focusing, like I have said, on Brock Bowers, on Jacoby Myers, on Ashton Genty. You have to focus on this running game. So where I live, why is everybody asking me where I live? I'm in Arizona right now. I live in Arkansas. I've been in Arizona for the last month and a half. Shit, too long. Almost 2 months, just visiting family. Most of my family's out here on the West Coast, so I don't get out too much. So that's where I'm at. I'm in Lake Havasu. If y'all want the address, y'all trying to pull up, I'll give it to you. I mean, fuck, I'll give you the address at home too. Just let me know. Like, I don't know. But yeah, so, Trey Tucker is going to be a sleeper because a lot of people and a lot of teams are going to have to focus on Brock Bowers, Jacoby Myers, even Michael Mayer, Dante Thornton, Jack Beck, Raheem Mostert out of the backfield. Shit, one of these guys, maybe Dylan Labe makes it and gets some snaps out of the backfield. That's a reach, but we don't know, right? The best guys, the best catchers out of the backfield, I believe, make this roster as the running back room because, Ashton Genty can catch. We know Raheem Mostert can catch, but these guys are going to have most of the carries and take most of the load, running the ball. You don't want your guys running the ball and catching the ball. You take a lot more abuse when you're catching, screen plays, when you're doing out routes and shit. A lot of these running backs get lit up on these plays when the defensive know what's coming. And I believe we have linebackers that are going to do that to a lot of opposing teams. So with the weapons we have, Trey Tucker, man, I think is going to be that dude. What else we got? A-Rob is going to kick ass this year. Yeah, I think, like I said, man, he's going to be the dude. I go over to Chat Sports and tell real Raider fans to come here, LOL. Shit, shout out my guy. I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate the love. Yeah, man. This ain't for clicks. Y'all already know what it is over here. It ain't for views. It ain't for that $100 every 2-month paycheck from YouTube. It ain't for that, yo. It's because I love this shit. I don't even have to say how bought into this shit I am. I mean, so man, that means a lot. I appreciate it. For fans, Raider fans, to go to other channels and tell them come over here, yo. That means the world to me, man. So, shit, a lot more than I can express, and I appreciate the hell out of that. Share the live. Tell your peeps. These Duts says I'm the shit. No, I'm just kidding. Unleashed Raider, my number one hero. Where you been? Damn. Sorry I'm late. Been busy all day. That's fucked up. How's work? How's school? How's everything going with you? Oh, and the super chat. Stop playing. I was just messing with you. Sorry I'm late on that. Salute Rebel. Sorry for missing most of the show. I'll watch it over when you are off. Man, I appreciate you. Shout out for the $10 holler. You don't even have to keep doing that shit. Your dad's going to be very, very pissed off when he gets that credit card bill and sees your college ass has been supporting Raiders Unleashed. Well, supporting YouTube. Don't get beat now. Don't get beat. But I appreciate you, man. Definitely more than you know. You already know. We talk behind the scenes and shit. So shout out. I was working on things. Our good spent the weekend with mom. Shout out to mom in the building. So you spent the weekend with mom on Father's Day? Okay. I'm not even going to pry. But yeah, man. Appreciate y'all rocking with me. Appreciate y'all pulling up. Shout out to the 15 in the building. I got to get the green screen up because I apologize for this shit. I was running late. Came in sweating, stinking. I can't sit here and smell myself no more. Dirty. Got to get in the shower. I don't know if I'm gonna post these middle of the day ones anymore. This shit's rough. But it's nice coming home early because it is flipping hot in Arizona, bro. What is the heat right now? 108. Good Lord. Stop. I don't even know why I looked. Horrible. But yeah, man, if y'all got any questions, that's my sleepers. I have some more guys that I also want to mention. We'll talk about tonight. Darnay Holmes, I think could be that slot receiver for, maybe the first couple weeks or maybe for the rest of the season. What you mean? Wow. Yeah. 108 is hot, bro. You walk outside, your ball stick to your leg. Pause if necessary, but it's not a good feeling, bro. There's no sweat because nothing comes out of your body. It's so dry. It's nasty, bro. I'm going back to the Midwest where you walk outside and you just feel like you just took a shower. I'd rather do that than to walk outside and be like, man, can I get some air to breathe and some water, bro? The air is ridiculous. You can't breathe that shit around here. He was going to ask about Darnay. Trixie Blue, appreciate you. Yeah, man, Darnay Holmes is one of those dudes that, he's caught he's caught a lot of attention in camp, right? I think I had something on here. I was going to talk about his numbers. Not a big role last year. All right, yeah, here we go. So this is what I had. After 4 seasons with the Giants, Holmes came to the Raiders last year, so this is his second season under Patrick Graham, but he also played for Patrick Graham with the Giants, so he has that familiarity with Patrick Graham. But Darnay Holmes is something that we don't have yet from any of these guys that have shown out in camp. None of them have shown the aggressiveness that we lost to Nate Hobbs, and that's something we have to get back, right? We lost it with Amik Robinson, and then we lost with Nate Hobbs. So I think, to me, those are two. We're still trying to replace Amik Robinson from 2 years ago. I don't want it to take 2 years to replace Nate Hobbs, or 3 years, right? We got guys like Mello Dotson, but I believe Darnay Holmes going into his 6th year. He's the veteran out there. He's going to help these guys along, right? He's seen a lot of offenses. He made a lot of big plays last year. So he's a guy that excels in man-to-man situations and is not afraid to come downhill and tackle, which is that Nate Hobbs style guy that, like I said, we're lacking. So watch for Darnay Holmes, man. Watching this preseason for this guy to impress some people, right? Not the biggest guy out there, but he reminds me of that, like I said, that Amik Robinson. Maybe he can get, put on more pounds in the weight room and get like Nate Hobbs with them guns. But either way, the dude's not afraid to tackle. He's aggressive. He's made a lot of noise already. I think he has three interceptions in mini camp in what they have 3 days, 3 days, and so 5 days, I think. 5 days in camp, 3 interceptions. Darnay Holmes coming to play, right? Coming to play. He got a little bit of reps with the injuries last year in different situations, different packages. Look for him, in my opinion. If he doesn't start, he's going to be that third down guy, to come out and play the slot, handle these tight ends if he has to, take care of the running backs. So watch out for Darnay Holmes, man. I see big things from this guy, and I feel like he makes this team, obviously, if I'm talking about him, to do big things. So watch out for Darnay Holmes. That's one of my sleepers to make this, roster. Like I say, we're probably only keeping six DBs. And I believe tomorrow, I don't know if it'll be daytime like this or nighttime, but tomorrow I'm gonna do my roster breakdown, right? I've already done my predictions, 12-5. You see it up top. That shit ain't changing. It's gonna stay the same with injuries, without injuries. I can't control the injuries, but I'm not gonna change my prediction because of injuries. I think we have damn good coaches and damn good depth we haven't had in a long time. So appreciate y'all rocking with me. Make sure you pull up tonight to find out. What was I talking about? No, I'm just fucking with you. Yeah, to find out why I feel like this team really, really has a chance to be contenders that we haven't had in the past, right? A lot of things have changed. And from my years of watching football, which is fucking half century, a long time, bro. I'm not even gonna say a long time of watching football. I've seen a lot of teams that nobody thought were gonna do anything, that nobody believed in the players, right? They weren't hyped up. They were a team that could make some noise, couldn't possibly make some noise. Shock the world. So with that, see y'all tonight. Love y'all. Peace out. Raiders Unleashed. Just win, baby. Peace. Much love, as always.